All right. Well, good day to you all, and thank you for your presence. I'm very excited about this show, and I just wanted to say as we get going, I want to acknowledge the current situation we're all in with our virus, virus, and our various halting governmental responses and money flow and isolation and all that, and just to acknowledge that that is bringing a lot of anxiety and stress into our daily lives, and that stress and that anxiety has a very big impact on the subject of the day, our general motor tone and motor performance. That anxiety automatically excites tension into our muscular system. And that anxiety produced tension is scrambling our finer motor skills and our short-term memories. And so I hope we get a little handle on taking care of ourselves with the implications of what we're talking about today. I want to say a couple of things also about just general parameters around our technology today. Um, if you will open your chat box to the right side of your screen, that is where Linda and I would like to have you address questions. So Linda will monitor that chat box, interrupt me in the flow of my presentation as need be to answer questions. I don't want to leave anybody behind. I don't want any confusion reigning over the situation as we proceed. So please use that chat box for your current questions. We will also have some time at the end to open up to general questions and answers where we can all see and hear each other. And as you'll see, this is somewhat lengthy and complicated material we'll be going through on the neurological side of things today. So Linda and I propose the possibility of a separate webinar for a study group so that we can have a larger format for questions and answers and have a chance to program that study group so that we can have breakout groups to discuss various topics and questions and come back to the group as a whole and see if we can add all the clarity to this material we possibly can. So with all that being said, let's get started. And today, down we go into the precincts of the unconscious mind and the systems that do all the fine motor control of everything I intend to do. My intention is my one conscious control over any movement that I'm going to make. And how I actually execute that movement is monitored and controlled very largely by precincts of the unconscious, which is where we're going today, down, 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 into precincts of the brain and the spinal cord that we normally don't think of, don't have to think of, and some even we can't think of consciously. They are way below the field of our conscious perception. So today we're looking at the gamma motor system, which I think of as the genie in the bottle. And from the unconscious precincts of motor control, the relationships of my conscious intentions and my unconscious habituated patterns and motor execution. So a lot of what we're talking about is this ping pong match between my conscious intentions and the unconscious execution of those intentions. And we'll be looking at muscular habituation. And that's all important role in our habits, our blocks, our skills, overcoming restrictive patterns, and how it is that our nervous system learns new, more functional habits of movement, which is what our work is all about. So I want to remind you at the outset that the most fundamental operations of the nervous system have not changed over the millennia and long eons reach of evolution. We share the basic principles and operations of our nervous system way back in time with worms and there onward. And that is, the most fundamental operations are gathering sensory information about our own self-perception of our bodies and the wider perception of the world that we are surrounded by and must function in. And number two, after the ability to gather sensory information through our sensory systems, processing external and internal sensations so that we can organize appropriate motor responses to our own internal sensory signals and to the signals that the world is imposing around us that we have to deal with and function within. So basic operations, very, very ancient. And we've added a tremendous amount of sophistication to those basic functions with this big prefrontal cortex and the expansion of other regions of our brain. But the game is still the same. Sensation in, processing, organized motor input, output out. So in this schematic of a worm, what we're looking at is its overall body, of course, and its tiny little brain up here, which really corresponds to our brain stem, where the organization of survival mode movement takes place, and the spinal cord, which is really reaching out sensory ends to the exterior and producing motor control commands so that this worm, through its sequential rippling contraction of its muscular bands that surround its interior, can crawl this way and that. Now, in this process, sensory awareness is of primary importance. The primary sensory inputs for the worm are little branches of the brainstem that we might think of as corresponding to smell and touch and operation of the mouth, opening for nutrition, closing to keep out toxicity, and the vast array of that sensory information feeding the worm's behavior is coming from its entire skin. That is its primary sense organ. How hot is it out here? How cold is it out here? What are the conditions in the earth I'm crawling around in that feed my survival? What are the conditions of the ground I'm crawling around in that challenge my survival? So the worm can organize its entire muscular crawling process to keep away from danger and to crawl towards happy ecological milieus and nourishment and survival. So we are built basically the same. We're just a more sophisticated, advanced model. Now, this is one of Milton's very important summations of what he imagined his work to be doing. From my tissue and my movement to my mind and my sensory awareness of the client at hand, to my hands so that the client's tissues become more connected to their mind through this process of sensory input. Let me see here. I want to make a little correction. Sorry for that, but something happened to my word order here that I'm not liking. glitches go on in the